As of today, the fight over congressional maps has become one of the central political battles heading into the midterm elections. There is no just the normal redistricting process that happens after the census. No, this is not it. We are watching now a mid-decade redistricting war where the states are changing or challenging congressional lines before the next census because control of the U.S. House may come down to only a handful of seats. The National Conference of States Legislatures notes that states are undertaking mid-decade redistricting at a rate not seen since the 1800s, which tells us how unusual this moment really is. The biggest turning point came on April 29th, 2026, when the U.S. Supreme Court decided that Louisiana versus Caltas, the court held that Louisiana congressional map, which included two majority black districts, was an unconstitutional racial gerrymandering. The rule, the ruling didn't erase the Voting Rights Act, but it did severely limit the argument that states can draw race-conscious congressional districts simply to comply with Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. In plain language, the court said that racial remedies for districting cannot override equal protection principles unless they meet a very demanding constitutional standard. The decision immediately changed the battlefield. Republican-led Southern states began moving quickly to revisit maps that had created or protected a majority black Democrat districts, like the one I live in. Louisiana is now one of the hottest fronts. The Republican-controlled state Senate passed a new map that would eliminate one of the two state Democrat-held majority black districts and likely move Louisiana from a 4 Republican, 2 Democrat delegation to a 5 Republican, 1 Democrat delegation. Governor Jeff Landry had already suspended the congressional primaries after the Supreme Court decision, even though thousands of absentee ballots had already been returned. South Carolina is also in motion. Governor Henry McMaster called a special session to consider new congressional maps that could target the district held by Congressman Jim Clyburn, the state's lone Democrat in the U.S. House. So according to Reuters, the proposed approach would split Clyburn's district and delay the June primary schedule to allow new lines to be used. Republicans already hold the other 6 congressional seats in South Carolina. So this move clearly is aimed at creating a 7-0 Republican delegation. Now, Sweet Home Alabama is another state to watch closely. Its current congressional map has been under a court order requiring it to stay in place until 2030. But the Supreme Court, of course, just cleared the way for Republicans to pursue a new map. That likely goal is to move from a 2 districts where black voters have a majority or near majority down to only 1, which would, of course, likely benefit Republicans in an additional seat. Texas, deep in the heart of, remains one of the largest pieces on the board. Republican-backed Texas map targets up to 5 Democrat-held seats. And the Supreme Court has already cleared the way for that map after a lower court found it likely discriminated against minority voters. Here in the Freedom State of Florida, there's another major front. Our Governor Ron DeSantis and the Republican legislature approved a new map that could help Republicans gain up to 4 more seats. But that map is being challenged in state court under Florida's Fair District Amendment, which bars maps drawn with the intent to favor or disfavor a party or incumbent, and also protects minority voters' ability to elect representatives of their choice. Now, it says of their choice. What it actually means, it allows minority voters to the ability to elect representatives that look like them. Other Republican advantage states include Missouri, Ohio, North Carolina, and Tennessee. Missouri's new map targets a Democrat-held Kansas-based seat or Kansas City-based seat. Ohio new compromise map could improve Republican chances in two Democrat-held seats. North Carolina's Republican legislature approved a map designed to flip one Democrat seat. Tennessee approved a map that dismantles a majority Black Memphis centered district and could leave Republicans with all 9 congressional seats in the state. Now, Democrats have had some counterpunches, but few of them have landed clearly. California voters approved a Democrat-backed map designed to flip as many as 5 Republican-held seats in direct response to Texas. Utah has now a court-imposed map that could give Democrats 1 seat, but Virginia, which could have given Democrats up to 4 seats, was blocked by the Virginia Supreme Court because lawmakers did not follow the proper procedures for putting the plan on the ballot. Maryland's Democrat effort has stalled, and New York's effort was put on hold by the U.S. Supreme Court. So, where are we today? Republicans appear to have the advantage in the 2026 map fight. Reuters reports that Republicans could gain close to a dozen House seats through redistricting. Although that does not guarantee they'll keep the House seats because midterm elections often punish the president's party, and Democrats only need a small net gain to take control. But from a map standpoint, the momentum is clearly with Republican-led states right now. Listen, before we go today, I want to talk to you from the heart for just a moment. For almost 20 years, wow, I've sat behind this microphone through good times, through hard times, elections, controversies, cultural battles, COVID, trying my best to give you something honest, not polished by corporate media, not approved by political consultants, just real conversation from somebody who genuinely loves this country and believes that ordinary people still deserve a voice. Fight Back Media was not built by millionaires. It was built by one listener, one viewer, and one supporter at a time. And right now, we need your help. We're trying to raise $1,000 to keep growing the Morning Report and improve what we do and continue building an independent media that matters to you, instead of advertisers, party bosses, or media gatekeepers. If this program has ever made you think, has ever encouraged you, if we've ever said something that you like, nobody else was willing to say, I'm asking you personally to stand with us today. $5, $10, $50, whatever you can do really matters. Because independent voices only survive when good people like you decide they're worth keeping alive. Now, for an urban stance conversation, the lesson is bigger than Republican versus Democrat. The real issue is that district lines determine political power. They decide who gets represented, whose community stays whole, whose voice gets diluted, and who suddenly becomes politically invisible. Black voters, urban voters, and every citizen need to understand that maps are not just technical drawings. Black voters, urban voters, and every citizen need to understand that maps are not just technical drawings. They are power documents. And when citizens do not understand the Constitution, the Voting Rights Act, equal protection, state constitutional rules, And the court processes, they are forced to accept whatever explanation the political class gives them. This is why constitutional literacy matters. If we're going to talk about representation honestly, we cannot just ask whether the map helps our side or hurts the other side. We have to ask whether the process is lawful, whether the voters understand what's happening, whether communities are being kept together or carved apart, and whether politicians are using race, party, or both to hide ambition behind legal language. That is where we are on May 15th, 2026. The maps are moving, the lawsuits are still active, and the voters who understand the rules are going to be much harder to manipulate than the voters that only hear the slogans. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.